This is INCRadio, DCEM 954, the voice of truth, the official radio station of the Church of Christ or Iglesia ni Cristo.
Good morning and welcome to INCRadio South Central States. Thank you for joining us today. And today we're going to talk about the CFO. And for those of you who don't know what the CFO is, here in the Church of Christ, we have different organizations that our members belong to, and it's called the Christian Family Organization. And so we have representatives here from the different organizations. And so as they introduce themselves, I'm going to want them to also talk about the different organizations that they represent. Okay, so we'll go ahead and start with whoever's here in studio with me. We've got Nate. Hi, Nate.
Yep, that would be me. So I'm actually a district president for the Bookwood. Bookwood is the married members organization. So anyone who is married, that falls under that.
All right. And then for our next organization, we have representing the Kadiwas, we have Nala. Welcome, Nala. Where are you from?
Hello. I'm from Oklahoma City, and as they've stated, I am part of the Kadiwa organization. I'm actually also the district president, so Kadiwa is our 18 and above and unmarried brethren.
Cool. Yes. They plan different activities, for those single and ready to mingle, right? And then we also have our other guests all the way from Little Rock. Go ahead and introduce yourselves.
Hi, everyone. My name is Alan Warwick. I am the Bookwood president here in our congregation. And thank you for having us on the show. I'm also joined by one of our Bookwood representatives. I'll let her introduce herself.
Hi, my name is Lexi, and I am a finance officer and Bookload sport committee chairman.
Yes, there you go.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for joining us. So the two organizations that we don't have representation from is the Binhi organization, and that is anyone who is baptized all the way up to 18 years old. And then we also have the CWS organization, which is our children's group. And that's anybody from 4 years old all the way up until they get baptized. So those are the different organizations we have in the church. And those are the different ones where we have different types of activities. And so talking about activities, we try to have lots of activities for our brethren here in the church. And so I want to ask you, let's start with Nala, because us single people, we're the ones who need these activities, right? Tell me, what are some of the favorite activities you were able to either put together or be a part of?
There's quite a lot that we have. So we try to cater to a bunch of different interests and, of course, keep in mind the goals of the church administration, which is to foster that brotherhood, that love for one another. So one of the things that recently I remember being a part of is our Kadiwa meet and greet that over there in Pensacola. So we had a really cool opportunity for brethren who may want to travel to go over there to Florida. And I know that there were a lot of brethren who were able to participate, meet other people. We also, a couple of years ago, had our In Concert, which was our big musical activity. So we had different local congregations that put together musical numbers, practiced, and then traveled to be able to put that on for our brethren, both here and also in the District of Texas. So lots of really cool things that have happened in our district.
That's cool. I'm just curious, what did you guys do in Pensacola for the meet and greet? Like, what are some of the activities you guys were able to do there?
As far as I understood, that we played a lot of get to know you games. There's a lot of other things that they handed out prizes and had a lot of selfie challenges that were really cool. So for all the brethren that went, I'd love to hear some of your experiences as well there in the comments.
Yes, please. All right. Let's go ahead and go to Little Rock. Alan, what are some of the activities you enjoy, whether it's things you guys did there in Little Rock or things you guys did in the district for Bookloods?
Yes, one of our key takeaways, we're very close knit here in our state, and there's a deep sense of community. Everyone here in the South, in the southern part where we live, I know we've got friends and colleagues that are also located in the South. It's just you can go up to any stranger and just have a conversation, and it's like you've known them for years. In the last month or two, we had an activity where a lot of people, especially who are from the Philippines, are very familiar with General Douglas MacArthur, right? And his famous tagline, "I shall return." Fun fact: a lot of people don't know that General Douglas MacArthur was actually born in Little Rock, Arkansas. And
Oh,
so we had
wow.
an activity. There's an actual museum here with a lot of artifacts and memorabilia, and a group of us went out there, and there were a lot of people that day, and they saw us as a group, and they said to us, where are you guys from? And he said, well, we're from Arkansas. And they're like, no, where are you originally from? And when we say we're from, a lot of our members are from the Philippines, they make that connection right away, especially being, in the birthplace of General Douglas MacArthur. So, deep sense of community and connection. That's something that we really, enjoy when we have our get-togethers.
I've
That-
actually been to that museum.
Oh, really? I haven't yet.
In Little Rock. Yeah.
I haven't yet. But you know what? Brother Oliver Villanueva put a comment in here. He says, there is a city called Manila in Arkansas. Is that true, Alan?
You were just talking about
Yeah,
that.
we were just talking about that yesterday.
Oh, wow. That is
Yeah.
pretty cool. What about you, Nate? What are some of your favorite activities?
Sports. Well, I would say it was sports. I can't play sports anymore. My body's destroyed. But yeah, it's always been the sports activities. We do a lot of volleyball. Volleyball is really popular in our district.
Mhm.
And just for those who don't know, our district covers El Paso. We have a local congregation there. Clovis, New Mexico, Lubbock, San Angelo, Fort Worth, DFW area. So Dallas also, Blue Ridge, which is north of Dallas. Oklahoma,
Kansas,
Wichita, yep,
Louisiana.
Louisiana. We have Baton Rouge and New Orleans, Biloxi, Mississippi, of course, Jacksonville, and then there's some other
Memphis
Memphis, and then there's also some smaller group worship services
in the area. So yeah, we have
Hopefully, I didn't forget anyone.
it's a big geographical location.
Yeah, so
And-
that those are part of the challenges of like when we try to do district get-togethers where multiple locals would come together. Typically, though, for the sports, that's when people will travel.
Yeah.
And it's been like that, like even when we were kids. That was always something exciting to look forward to. So I used to live in Florida, and it was the same thing. So all the Florida cities that had local congregations would get together, once or twice a year
Mhm.
and play sports.
Back in the days when I was in California, we actually had people all the way from San Diego, all the way up to Sacramento, and we would gather in the middle, which was Fresno, and we would have activities like that for the whole state, even though it was like two different districts.
Right.
We did things together because it's just so much fun when you're able to gather with a lot. I want to tell you one of my favorite activities we used to have, and this is when I was in California, and I was one of the officers also in the Kadiwa. We had a pretty big chapel compound where we had a lot of grass area, concrete area, and everything, and so we created our own miniature golf course. And so each
Oh, that would be
department,
cool.
yeah, each department created like their own hole, right? And then they had to theme it, whether it was a castle or a cartoon character, race cars.
Did someone
and all
have
that
a
stuff.
windmill like your typical?
Yes, we did have a windmill because you got to have that. You have to have one of those where the door opens and it's challenging. And so it was pretty cool because we actually had 18 holes for miniature golf. And it was nice because, the preparation for it and having to build and a lot of it was made out of cardboard. It wasn't anything fancy like
Right.
with, structure. So we just did it as the youth. And then after we had it all built, then we had one day of activity where that's all we did was play miniature golf on the property. So I thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, what about like activities we'd had so far this year? Nala, was there any activity that you had helped put together for the Kadiwas, whether it's in your district or in your actual local congregation?
Sure. like Brother Nate was talking about, we had our Unity District games for basketball recently. So we were able to gather all in one place. They were in Mansfield, Texas, I believe. And I know that there were a lot of brethren who were really excited to participate. And there was a separate place for kids, and there was like different divisions. So that one was a really cool one to put together and collaborate with everybody with. We've also had other activities. I know last year we had a Kadiwa get together that we did there in Fort Worth, I believe, where we rented out a couple of lanes for the Kadiwa to play bowling and just get together, eat some food, get to know each other a little bit better. Had prizes for the games that we did. So there's like Nate said, we have a lot of coordination that happens in those kinds of activities. So it's always really fun to see some of those things come together after all the planning that we do.
You know what, with the volleyball, that's been getting a lot more popular with like younger people, because I remember before when I was a kid, it was mostly the adults that played volleyball.
Oh yeah, no, back in Southern Midwest, it used to be basketball all the way, but now that
Yeah.
we're South Central states, everyone who wants to play the volleyball, get
I
up
think
to
it
that,
was
it
you
down.
that mentioned to me the reason though is because there was like an anime that came out.
Oh sure, yeah,
Oh, is
I'm
that
fairly
what it is?
sure. It's called Haikyuu. It's
Oh,
a very
yeah.
popular one that everybody's, because it's really accurate to a lot of the moves that you do in volleyball. So a lot of people wanted to copy all of those moves. It's a little more realistic than some other shows that show sports. So I think that's really fun, and I think that it's a great way that the CFO shows that they're listening and that they care, right? Because they listen to the interests of the brethren and try to cater to that, have activities that really enjoy, that the brethren will enjoy, and that will feel a sense of camaraderie with.
Yeah. I mean, and it's great because, being able to have these different activities and then being able to hang out with everyone and, meeting new people, a lot of these they end up being friends for life. Cause
Yeah.
I remember even in California where when we would have different activities with Southern California, I mean, we kept in touch. And so every time I would go down to LA, I would know people there. And so, and
And
even
it's like a little mini Friends reunion you get.
it
Yeah.
is. It is. And you know what's so neat about these different organizations is because you can go anywhere in the world and it's like even if you don't know them, it's like you have that sense of connection.
Right.
Because I just came back from Montana and so I had to go all the way up to Canada to be able to do the different activities. And just, even though like I said, I've never met any of them and I had just texted one person because I needed to know
Right.
different information. And just from there, she goes, "Oh, you're Arnie," and I'm like, "Yes." And then just you just bond right away. And so I think it's really cool to be able to do that.
And in case you're wondering, like if you're trying to look for a congregation near you, let's say you're listening and you're not a member of our church, you can go to incmedia.org and you can find our church directory and you'll probably find a congregation near you.
Yeah, because I mean we're all over the world.
Yes.
We cover lots of different countries, and I think the only place we're not in is Antarctica. So if you're in Antarctica, we're not there yet. But we're getting there. So before we continue on with our conversation, we do have our thinking caps, and we're actually going to have more than 3 this time. So, it gives you a chance to be able to get your point. So we'll go ahead and start with our first thinking cap question. And so our first question is El Paso, the westernmost city in the District of South Central States, translate into English as what? So what does El Paso mean? Is it A, the past, B, the past, C, the post, or D, the paste? Okay, so A, the pass, PASS, B, the past,
I bet it's
ST,
D.
C, the post, and then D, the paste. So if you guys know Spanish, then hopefully you'll know that one. So that's El Paso. So before, while we give you a chance to answer those, go ahead and put A, B, C, or D. I want to ask our folks there in Little Rock, what are some of the activities you have held this year since January on in your local congregation that you actually enjoyed or found interesting?
Go ahead.
Yeah. Last month we had a nature walk activity where we went to Petit Jean and some of the the brethren are just enjoying the trail and walking on nature. And we actually went on a hike. It's a little bit uh, tough, but we were just looking forward to the waterfalls.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but a lot of scenic beauty in our state, and
Yeah.
the one common denominator for all of our activities is that everybody loves to take photos,
Uh-huh.
and great opportunity for the families, and a lot of group photo sessions. We had a Not too long ago, we had a beginner's guide to photography as well. So we do have some enthusiasts that use SLR cameras, and they were able to put those skills that we had as part of a booklet activity for photography. So yeah, it was very fun, and we got a lot of great photos out of it.
Yeah, and that's another thing. The activities don't actually have to be like sporting events because not everybody's into sports, but just like the different hobbies. Because I remember, Nate, I think the book lords did this, and I get kind of jealous because I think everyone should be able to be a part of it. Where you guys do your Mr. and Mrs. Chef.
Oh yeah, cooking. Yep.
Yeah, where
It's
they
like a little competition where we'll have like a theme, right? And then the couples will actually work together and they'll create something, and then there's been contests with it
uh-huh.
to where there'd be voting, and then those people can advance. So we started like within our local,
Mhm.
and then we even had district wide, so all the different cities would compete, and then they even did like regional.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so yeah, that one's fun.
Yeah, I think we need to crash that one, Nala. Because sometimes I think, us, even though we're single, we know how to cook too, right? We want to win a prize.
That reminds me, a few years ago, we had a street food competition for the Kadiwas, so that's something we can probably bring back.
Yeah, like what kind of street food do they have?
I believe in other locals they did like I saw like Chinese street food. There was a lot of
Mhm.
Filipino street food. So I saw a lot of halo halo, and there were some like really cool foods that I wish I remember. But that just means we need to bring it back, right?
Yeah. And we did something like that too. I remember when I was younger where it was about the different foods, but each group had to create their own booth and it was themed. So it was like Italian, Mexican, Filipino, Japanese and all that stuff. And so you had to decorate your booth into theme of that country. You decorated it like with a country flag and the different souvenirs from that country, and then you had to serve that type of food. So of course, like the Italians, they had to have the pastas, the salads and stuff like that. And then the Filipinos, they made it look like a bamboo hut kind of a thing, and that's where they would serve their food from. The Mexican food, they had different Mexican foods, tacos and things
Right,
like that,
right.
and then had big old sombreros that they had there. They even had a piñata for the children. So
Yeah.
I thought that was a cool thing.
It's always sports and food. Those are the most popular.
It is because everybody likes to eat. It doesn't matter what it is. Everybody likes to eat, right?
And we're even gonna try like some newer sports.
Mhm.
So I hear that like a weightlifting competition
Oh,
maybe in the
wow.
works. I've seen some other districts do pickleball.
Yes.
Archery is also another sport
Yes.
that we're currently not doing that we
Uh-huh.
probably need to try out. Yeah.
Have you guys ever done tennis here? Because that was really popular in California, where you would have.
Maybe back in the
Tennis.
day when we were still a part of District of Texas
Uh-huh.
that has, Houston and San Antonio.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think we did.
and they did golfing also for those who actually like to golf.
I got a quick comment from Angelica. They're having their Unity Games volleyball in Washington D.C.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, it's a very common activity in our church is
Yes.
The Unity Games, especially volleyball. And she misses her old teammates because she used to be from Jacksonville. That
Oh,
is actually
wow.
Brother Allen's daughter.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's
This
good.
was her, and Alexis was her teammate, right?
Yes.
Yeah, they were both on the team.
Oh, that's nice. Oh, that is so cool. All right, let's go to our second thinking cap question because like I said, we've got a few here. So our second one, this time it's E, F, G, and H. Okay. Odessa, Texas is actually named after a city in this European country. Okay. Where is Odessa? Is it E in Poland, F in France, G in Ukraine, or H in Germany?
Have you been to Odessa?
I've been to Odessa, Texas. Yes. Yes. And, usually people like because it's not that far of a drive from here. It's like what, 5 hours?
Not that far. Yeah,
Okay, but
5 hours.
I actually flew because when I first moved to Texas, I had to drive through Odessa, and I remember the drive from there to here was like not the most entertaining, and so I was like, oh no, I cannot drive that by myself, so I had to fly to
I
Odessa.
don't think I've been to Odessa. I've been to almost every corner of the state, but I don't think Odessa I've been through.
It's okay.
Yeah, you're out there in the plains. Yeah.
It is. It's all open. It's so different. But yeah, so go ahead and put in your answers, E, F, G, or H to see where Odessa is at. All right. So Nate, what about you? What's another activity you've had for the book load this year, for district book load since January?
For district book load, actually, we do a lot of like seminars.
Okay.
Yeah, so we'll do like job seminars where we talk about careers,
Mhm.
so we can tap into like our vast network. We've done activities like that. Parenting seminars, we do that too, to give advice to parents. And we always try to find like professionals who can speak on the topic. So
Mhm.
like I was trained to be a teacher, so I was a
Mhm.
teacher before. So that's kind of my background. And we take a lot of what we learn like from our careers, and we bring that to help out each other here in the church.
Yeah, because I mean, we have a team of medical professionals, right? And they also put together different types of seminars on a regular
Yep.
basis.
Our what are they called? The
CM,
yeah, CMDPS.
I don't know what
All
it
right,
stands
what
for.
does this stand?
I
What
don't
does this
know.
stand for? Someone help us out. The C stands for Christian
Those in the chat, tell us, what does CMDP
medical.
stand for?
CMD is dental. P is
Paramedic.
paramedic.
Oh, is that
There we
what it
go. We
is?
almost got out. CMDP.
CMDP.
What is that?
Oh, there's an S. I don't know. But like I said, they have a lot of very useful information. I know they did something on diabetes awareness, which I think is really important because it seems like nowadays there's more people with diabetes than we've
Mhm.
had in the past, right? Um,
Oh, here we go. We got something from Abigail in San Diego County. They had an automobile exhibition and collectors convention not too
yes.
long ago.
Sacramento had the same thing
Yeah.
where it's not like the old cars because not anyone has old cars anymore, but like the youth who souped up their cars would bring it and they would have
Yeah.
a car show.
We had that in Hawaii. We had a car show in Hawaii
Yeah,
back in the day. Yeah.
that is pretty
I'm,
cool.
I'm getting Fast and the Furious vibes.
No, and you know what? That was the first thing I thought of when I saw the pictures from my friends in Sacramento, because that is what they did. They had it all lined up and everything. They didn't race or anything. It was just an actual show, but it was pretty cool.
Oh, we got Nala's dad here in the chat, Anthony.
And what did he
They
say?
did a community service called Neighborhood Appreciation Day.
Okay.
They did it in front of their Salt Lake City chapel. So lots of preparation, and then a lot of the neighbors came. So that's another thing we do. We do a lot of things for our neighborhood, our local neighborhoods.
Oh, wait. So Nala, you guys are from Salt Lake City?
No, so we're from all over, former military family, but my parents are in Salt Lake City.
They are. Okay. That's a nice area.
It is really pretty over there. Like, we visited them just recently, and it's nice to go sightseeing, or if you want to just try different things. So
Yeah. But yeah, that is another thing we do. It's neighborhood appreciation. We've had that here also in Fort Worth, where we gather, whether it's school supplies or food supplies that we like to give to the less fortunate, especially like in our neighborhoods, just to support the community. So a lot of the activities we do is not specifically just for members, but we do invite those who are not part of our church community, and then that way they can see the different things that we do for the church. Right. What other activities have we had for this year that you can recall?
That's tough for me to remember.
I know, because it
I'm
seems
always
like
looking forward, not looking back.
We have the bowling.
Right. We had a family bowling activity.
Mhm.
So again, just kind of strengthening the bonds of moms and dads and their kids, and just all out fun. We do have some competitive folks. We Jacksonville took the trophy a few years ago for the district unity games. But talking about community again, so we we're very integrated here in Arkansas. Going back to what I mentioned earlier, we had the chief of police a few years ago. We invited him to our chapel, and he visited us, and we showed our appreciation. We gave him a plaque, and it was very beneficial because you can't have enough. What do you call it? Just like the neighborhood watch, so to speak, right? We have our chapel grounds, and he actually he took it upon himself to increase the patrols in and around our neighborhood after visiting us here. We've also done things like blood donation drive.
Mhm.
We try to do that at least once a year, and we have a pretty good showing, for those types of events.
Yeah, like I said, we try to do, and I remember we used to do like teacher appreciation days also, where we would, and where the children of the CWS would invite their teachers to come to the chapel and have an activity for them, and
Right.
especially now with a lot of the times the teachers are the ones who have to provide their own school supplies and everything.
Yep.
We can collected donations for school supplies so that the teachers can take whatever supplies they needed so that they can use it for their classrooms.
Yep, I remember doing that. So like we would set up a care package with like a backpack and basic school supplies.
Yeah.
And we all pitch in and donate. So
Yeah.
that's another nice thing is like just how everyone gets together,
Mhm.
in a sense of community and really giving back as much as possible, and it's from brethren from all walks of life too.
Exactly. That's what
Yeah.
I was going to say. That's what inspires me is because, we're not all rich. Some of us are, do have hard times, but they still find it in their heart to still be able to donate to help those who are less fortunate. And I think we see that a lot in our Aid for Humanity activities, in our neighborhood appreciation, and then like that when we appreciate the different community departments. Because I remember we went to the the fire department, and because they were so they were so grateful for what we did. They let the kids go down the slide. I mean, the pole. They let them put on the uniforms, kind of, to see what they had to do. They even let them do the siren on the fire trucks, and and just see the different things that the fire truck has. So I think, and then that just also helps the children because now they can see, what the community does for them. And so why it's always good to give back to our communities.
Right. Yeah, and that's a big thing too, is we do have activities also for our little ones, our
Mhm.
little kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I know with the bowling, we mentioned that earlier. I don't know what happened to my son. All of a sudden he's like getting super into bowling. He could already beat my score. I'll
Oh,
say
really?
that. Yeah.
And that's without the bumpers?
Without the bumpers. And he's throwing curves. He knows how to throw the curve and he's
Good for him.
consistently making a better score than me.
It's his brain. His brain is the way it thinks. I can never do a curveball. When I bowl, it is straight. I can never make it turn in any way.
Right. And what I like about, especially in our district with the sense of community, you don't have to be super competitive to want to participate. It
Mhm.
really is about like, hey, if you want to, you know, play bowling, you can score 60 like right here. You can still be a part of the activity.
Yeah, I know. And one of the ones that we took our children to, which I thought was really cool, was in Sacramento. We had this thing. It was called Little Town. And so it looked like an actual replica of a city where we had a state capitol, we had a police department, a fire department, a library, and the children, and they even had like those little tight cars that the kids can go into. They had working stoplights. So it was literally a miniature town, and that's where they learned like how to cross the street looking both ways. They learned about 911 emergency, when to call 911 in case of emergencies and things like that. And so they got to see the different aspects of the city and then what each city does. There was a little grocery store where they could actually go in and have a shopping cart and have grocery for fake food. And then you had some people who worked as a cashier checking out the children. So it was really neat. And it was just all the children doing the different things that adults normally do in everyday life. So they can see what I guess life is like in a
Right.
city. So I thought that was pretty cool.
We should talk about the arts, but we should do another thinking cap.
Okay, let's go do another thinking cap. So let's go to thinking cap number 3. Okay. This Texas city was the birthplace of rock and roll legend Buddy Holly. I don't know who that is, but that's okay.
How do you not know who Buddy Holly is?
I don't know Buddy Holly. So, was he born in I, Austin, J, Dallas, K, Midland, or L, Lubbock? I think because I'm not into rock and roll.
When you hear him, you'll recognize it.
Oh.
There's no way.
What's a song that of his that's popular that I might know?
I'll be honest, I don't listen to him.
See, Alan,
But-
do you
but
know
yeah.
Buddy Holly? Because I'm thinking he's more of
You hear his voice, and you will know.
Well, one of the more popular American classic songs is American Pie by John McClane, and it's about Buddy Holly. So,
okay.
bye, this American Pie. That
that
song.
one. Yes, I know that song. Oh, it's about him.
It's about him.
Oh, I thought it was about pie. Okay. See, I don't listen to words. I think I just listen to the music. All right. So, and then other activities.
We're
What
going
about their?
arts? We're
Oh,
gonna
that's
talk
right.
about
Arts.
yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead and talk about your arts.
One cool art activity that I saw. We haven't done it here yet, but I would like to do. They do coffee painting. Have you ever seen that?
Yes.
You can paint with coffee, like watercolors.
Oh no, that I have not seen.
Yeah, and then I guess you can drink your paint too.
But then how do you? So do you just do food coloring to make it different colors?
No, they just make it from coffee, so it's
So
like
it is brownish.
just monotone. Yeah,
Oh.
but I'm like coffee. I'm there.
Oh yeah. Well, speaking of coffee, we used to have cafe nights.
What'd you do there?
So what we do is we'd have, first of all, different types of coffees or hot beverage. So in case people don't drink coffee, especially with the youth, we don't want to infuse them with caffeine. We would have hot chocolate, tea, and just different hot beverages. And then we would set up the function hall to look like either a Parisian cafe or our favorite coffee shops. And decorate it all. And then we would do different board games because, most coffee shops have some type of board games. So we would do board games or puzzles, like checkers, chess, things like that, Jenga.
Right.
And then lately, instead of having the table board games, we brought like the bigger versions. Because I don't know if you guys have seen like the bigger Jenga that's kind of like life size and the big Connect Fours, things like that. And so it's just a way to sit, have coffee, and socialize with one another playing games.
I could think of two art activities we did that were really fun. So like one, it was a painting night, and there's just there's none of us who are like professional painters, but there's some of us who do it as a hobby, so we know the basics, and we were teaching others how to make a painting, actual painting. And then another one we did. This was actually with the youth. Everyone came together and they were given a very specific picture they had to paint.
Okay.
And then when we put it all together, it made a big picture. And that was really fun.
Oh, that would be so cool.
So we actually had to like work together somewhat.
Yeah.
In putting it together. And even though everyone kind of has like mixed abilities artistically wise, when it all came together, it looked really good.
I think we can do that like as a district, like have assign each local congregation a little section of it, right? And then when we come together with a big district activity, they would bring all their pictures
That would be
together.
cool. Yeah.
And then that way it's everyone's involved.
Right.
Oh, that is such a good idea.
What about over there in Oklahoma? You have any art activities you guys like to do?
We actually just had one recently. So one of the members here in Oklahoma, shout out to Brother Ramon, he paints in his free time. So we had an activity recently where we did karaoke and painting. So we brought canvases, we brought easels, and Ramon kind of taught us how to paint an aurora, like one of the aurora borealis. So he taught us different techniques and stuff, and everybody afterwards were able to show all of our pictures and all of the people who painted. So we had people from Benhit, Buklod, Kadiwa. That one was really fun. We also used to have a lot of cafe nights too. Actually, one of our projects here in the local is to clean up our function hall so that we can have stuff like that again, have another place where we can have food related activities and stuff like that. So art is actually really popular here in our district too. We have a lot of music activities. I know just recently we just had a music video that we were able to produce here in our district. So a lot of talented brethren there in the district, in the Texas region. So hoping to see a lot more of those to be able to really incorporate, again, a lot of those interests that our brethren have.
Yeah, and a shout out to those who did the music video because I know we came into the top 10.
Yeah.
And that was a lot of people who participated. When I saw the different local congregations around the world and to make it to top 10, I think that is such a big deal. So kudos
And if you didn't know, they actually recorded that song in this
in the studio.
with these mics. Yeah. I was kind of worried because I was like, well, these mics are more for podcasting, not for singing, but it turned out really good.
Yeah, and did you see how many of them were there? And yet, how did they all fit in here? Because there's no way. I mean,
Yeah,
like you and me alone is already crowded.
4 at a time. They did it 4 at a time. That's how they did it.
So that is pretty cool. And they could still watch the video, right? They can go onto YouTube.
Yep, we're on there.
It's
You can look
INC
up
Music.
INCMV in South Central States.
South Central States, yeah.
Yeah.
And you could check out the ones from the other districts too, because they did some pretty good ones. But
How
you
about
know.
another thinking cap?
Okay, another thinking cap. That
Yep.
I keep
We got a lot
forgetting
of
we have
them.
more.
Yeah, we got a lot of them today.
Not like only 3 today. All
See,
right.
That was the old one.
That
Let's
was
bring
the
up the
next
new
one, yeah.
one. There we go.
So, which of the following mountain ranges is not in Arkansas? So, Alan, you guys should know this one, but don't
Yep.
say the answer
Better
yet.
get it right.
You can't get this one wrong. So, is it M, the Ozarks, and the what's that?
Yeah, help us out.
How do you say that? Because you guys are
It's Washita.
Washita Mountains, or O, Davis, or P, Boston Mountains. So, which of these mountains is not in Arkansas?
Yep.
And
We're gonna go through the whole alphabet today.
Oh, we are.
Yeah.
And you know what's so cool about and I didn't know that. I thought Arkansas was like flatland, right? But then driving from Texas to going into Arkansas, they do have a lot of good places to go for nature.
Yes.
It's really
absolutely.
nice. And if I wasn't in a rush to get there at a certain time, I wanted to pull over and stop because I heard they have waterfalls there too, and I can't even see those waterfalls because I'm always in a rush to get to where I'm going. But if y'all have a chance, go visit Arkansas.
Absolutely. Our state moniker is the natural state. So a lot of natural beauty here.
So do you guys have a lot of outdoor activities?
We do. As a matter of fact.
Well,
We've got, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, what was an example of one?
So as Alexis was talking about earlier, we had that nature walk thing, and that was up in an area called Petit Jean Mountain. And there's a whole backstory about some of the early French explorers who established Little Rock and the surrounding areas. But it's essentially, it's like on a plateau and very scenic. There's a lake up there. You've got bluffs. You've got a great view of the valley and the rivers. And, a lot of people go up there for things like wedding photos and graduation photos, that sort of thing.
And we also have that Rocky Mountain there.
Right, that's right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. We also have I think it's the largest free-flowing river in the U.S., and that's the Buffalo National River. So a lot of people will go on tubes and they'll go on kayaks, and they'll do like rafting, that sort of thing.
I say we do that and then go live from rafting.
Yeah, you can't really do that here in DFW, Arnie.
No, I'm not saying here. I'm saying in Arkansas. I'm saying we'll go mobile, be on a raft, and do our show from that raft.
Although you could jump into the Trinity River they have here, but
no.
I wouldn't.
No. And that was, I remember a long time ago, we had a rafting activity where we would go down the Sacramento River. Yeah. And it was really cool because there was multiple rafts, and we loved to play volleyball even when we were kids. So we would play volleyball between the rafts.
You know where we should go?
Where?
Oklahoma City. They actually have whitewater rafting in the city.
It's in the city.
Yep, we've got a river sport, so that's out here. You can do a bunch of other things too. There's like you can do zip lining, you can do surfing at classes, I believe. And actually one of the sisters here works there, so it'd be a great one to visit.
Oh, that is so cool. That is so cool. There's actually an activity going on right now with our folks out there in Blue Ridge. So I want to give them a shout out. And I've seen other local congregations do this. I know Baton Rouge has done this. Jacksonville there in Arkansas has done this. They have the INCRadio watch parties. And I think that's pretty cool. That's where they get together and actually watch this program all together as a group. And, that is another activity that people like to have.
That's Jacksonville. Yep.
Yeah, Jacksonville's done it right now. Blue Ridge is doing it live right now, so that's why I'm giving them a shout out because they just sent us pictures of them doing our watch party.
Oh,
And then
nice.
I've seen it also with Baton Rouge done that. They sent us pictures of their different activities, so things like that. And we're hoping that with this broadcast, the different local congregations and different districts get ideas of other things we can have. We're only halfway through the year. We have a whole nother year to go where we can plan out more activities. So hopefully it gives you ideas of different activities you can have, in the local congregation, especially for the youth. I really think it's really important to have activities for the youth so that they're among their peers instead of out there doing who knows what, right?
Right. Oh yeah, that's definitely a big thing because I was also a youth group president.
Mm-hmm.
So that was always in mind. It's like let's maintain like our friendship with each other,
Yes.
at church
Yes.
because yeah, there are bad influences out there.
Uh-huh.
And all of us growing up, we know that some of our, friends, may have uh let's just say stumbled
Mm-hmm.
in life. Yeah, and so that's where we see the importance of making sure that we check up on our friends, and that's part of that community is like we look out for each other. And I remember we would visit each other,
Mm-hmm.
especially when we had a feeling that maybe one of them was, feeling kind of down. We would always check up on each other.
Yeah. One of the activities we had was when Mario Kart first came out, because popular and everything, and all the children like playing Mario Kart. We actually did a Mario Kart, but with with remote control cars. So everyone would come with it's just a regular remote control car, but they kind of decorated it to make it look like one of the cars in Mario, and then we would have races around the parking lot.
Right. We did that too here a while back. It wasn't Mario Kart per se, but we set up a track
Uh-huh.
and we raced RC cars.
Uh-huh.
And again, it's like we're not going to be that competitive. I just said just go to Walmart or
Mhm.
whatever and go buy yourself like a $20 RC car.
Yeah.
And we had fun. I actually won with a $20 RC car I bought the night before. So
That is pretty cool.
and that's kind of the point. So in all these activities, it's not so much like how good are you going to be at something.
Mhm.
It's like it doesn't matter what we're doing.
Mhm.
We just want to enjoy, the time we have with each other.
Yes. Oh, here's another activity Brother Oliver Villanueva put out. He said kite flying. I remember we had a teacher, and they showed us how to make a kite out of tissue paper.
Mm,
And tissue paper and straws, and then we had streamers to like decorate the tail of the kite,
right.
and then we actually flew it, and
Arnie,
it worked.
Did you toilet paper a house?
No, it's tissue paper, not toilet paper. The ones you use for gift wrapping. But yeah, see, so we did that, and I thought that was pretty cool, and the kids really enjoyed it because you're getting them out in the outdoors; they're not
Right.
indoors, but then they get to work with their hands and they get to be creative. So
Yeah,
I
we
thought
did
that was
it
cool.
a few years back. And like I said, it's like what's the fun of like making a kite? It's like, well, that's not really the point. It's like we all get to be together. And I actually had a lot of fun. Like we made a lot of kites. So like we went by a lake where it was like really windy, and we would make one kite, then we would tie it down, then we'd make another one, and we were just filling up the sky with a whole bunch of kites.
Yeah. And then one other favorite activity I had that we put together for the children was we had a water day because we couldn't take them to like a swimming pool or anything like that, and it gets really hot in the summer, and so it was everything about water. So we had water balloons. So first we would have the water balloon toss game, and then it would end up with like a water fight game, which the children really loved. And then when Halo, the video game, became popular, we did an obstacle course, kind of like Halo, where it's capture the flag, but we used water guns. And so you would have to run around and squirt each other with the water guns. And so that was a lot of fun that the children had. And like I said, I can't play that video game because I get dizzy, but playing it live with a water gun was a lot of fun. So,
No thinking cap.
okay, thinking cap. Oh, yeah, because we're running out of time. Okay, so which of the following cities is not a city in the DFW Metroplex? Okay, is it Q, Denton, R, Waco, S, Frisco, and T, Cleburne? So if you know the DFW Metroplex, you know which one's not here. So which of the following cities is not a city in the DFW Metroplex? Q, Denton, R, Waco, S, Frisco, and T, Cleburne. So go ahead and put in your answers and chime in. And so I'm just curious, Alan, they're in Jacksonville. Do you guys have a lot of children in your local congregation? What are the different things you guys do for them there?
Arnie, it's like you just read my mind because Alexis and I are watching the kids right now playing in the backyard because we have our CFO Cares Day going. And shout out to our brethren in Jackson because they're just a couple of rooms over having a watch party. We're having a cookout in our backyard. I can smell all the grilling that's going on. But yes, we've got volleyball going on. We've got badminton going on. So if anybody wants to come visit us, we're having a great day today. It's a beautiful day, fluffy clouds. We had some severe weather in the last few days and a few tornadoes here and there. But thank God, today is a beautiful day.
Yes, because here too, we've been having thunderstorms and everything. We got blue skies. We don't even have a cloud in the sky right now.
Yeah.
So it's,
we're actually missing out on ours for a little bit.
Yeah. Ours has started a little bit, so they got to go play the games without us. What about you, Nala? What do you guys do there for the children?
Well, unfortunately, we don't have as many kids here, but here in Wichita, where I'm streaming from, we have one of our sisters here who likes to draw and color. So we had an activity just recently where we all colored on WebEx together, and it was really cute because we had even like a diwa and some of the binhis. They were almost more into it than the kids.
Yeah,
we're just trying to get them to color with us and have fun in creating art. And I think that's inspiring to a lot of the younger ones because that sister now draws. She was showing me a lot of her drawings recently, and I was like, that's really good.
Mm-hmm. And I do remember in Dallas, I think a few months ago, where we had the career day for the children, where they had different guest speakers talk about the different career paths. And that was pretty cool. So the children got to see, what are the different options of what they can do when they grow up. I thought that was pretty cool. I remember that one we were actually at.
Yeah, career fairs are fun.
Yeah.
Although I don't have an exciting career anymore. Like, hey kids, be a data analyst. It's like,
no,
not really a ring to it.
I'm the type of person that says, get a job where you're hands-on. I've never had a desk job, and I can't do a desk job. I think I would go out of my mind.
Yeah, I can relate.
Yeah. So, okay, let's do one more thinking cap because we have one more, right?
Yep.
Is that our last one? Okay, this is our last one. So this is our last one. This city dubs itself as air capital of the world. Which city dubs themselves as air capital of the world? Is it U, Dallas, Texas, V, Memphis, Tennessee, W, Wichita, Kansas, or X, Oklahoma City? Oklahoma. I was going to say Arkansas. Oklahoma City, OKC. So go ahead and put in your answers there. Wait, I thought we were going all the way to Z. Are we going all the way to Z?
No, because you only have 2 more letters.
Oh, okay. I just didn't know. So just all the way to X. Okay. So which one dubs themselves as the air capital of the world? So go ahead and put in your answers. So next week we should have a lot of different
comment
ones.
From Brother Oliver.
Geb and Trina. Yes.
I think he's there in Wichita, right?
Yes, he is in Wichita.
Let's see. So this was probably when he was in Vancouver. They had a scavenger hunt type of activity for CBI. CBI is
Christian Brotherhood International. So that's for our college students. Yeah.
Yep. They went to different places around the city doing different tasks and getting hints to next place as they raced to the finish line.
I think that would be
very
cool.
creative. Yeah.
Yeah. That is pretty cool. I think that's something that we can do. And go all the way from El Paso and end up in Baton Rouge.
Yeah, but if you mess up, you're going to end up in like Mexico or something.
But how cool would that? Have it like as a weekend activity, because there's no way you could do that in one day, right?
Yeah.
So start off either in Baton Rouge or in El Paso, and then hopefully find your way.
They couldn't do that in Jacksonville. I mean, you get lost in the woods. There's no cell phone signal in some parts.
We're not going to send them in the woods, are we? But how cool would that
Y'all not from around here, are you?
No, like I said, I normally just go straight from Texas all the way to Jacksonville, and that's it, and then come right back. I haven't explored that area. Well, actually, I did. I visited the presidential library that you guys have over there because I like to visit.
Speaking of which, we actually met the former president during one of our activities.
Oh, wow.
And he was there. He was there with author James Patterson because I guess they collaborated on a fictional novel together.
Okay.
And we actually got pictures with President Clinton.
Oh, how cool is that? Yeah, like I said, I visited his presidential library because I try to go to the different presidential libraries around the country just to check it out because I think it's the coolest thing to see all the different artifacts that they had while they were in office. So that is pretty cool. Any other activities that's memorable that we can think of?
You know, a light bulb just went off in my head as we were talking about activities, and that's skydiving. And I'm not talking about jumping out of a perfectly good airplane. I'm talking about indoor skydiving. I don't know if y'all have that in your areas. I think you do.
I've done that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that would
Yeah,
be fun. We have a place in Little Rock that that allows for that too. So yeah, there you go. There's
Have you ever
an
done it
idea
before?
for a future activity.
Yes, I've done the indoor skydiving. I will not jump out of a plane as much as I like to fly. I will not jump out of one unless it's an emergency. But I did do the indoor one, and that was a lot of fun. I did it with a bunch of friends, and you have someone there so that you don't kind of like fly away or you don't hit the walls and stuff. And I did pretty good. I was surprised because like he didn't have to hold me as much, and so I thought that was the coolest thing. But that I would do. I would not jump out of a plane. Nala, would you jump out of a plane?
I am terrified of heights. I'm only 5'1", and anything larger than me scares me. So the sky is terrifying. But I would do it just to try and to show other people that they can.
Yeah. Well, the indoor one, you don't have to be afraid because you're not going high at all. You're just like above this huge fan. And so you're not going high at all.
Like I said, I would give it a shot. I like the speedy things. I know a few years ago, well, actually, this is longer than a few years. I'm getting old now. But a long time ago at Southern Midwest, we had a go-kart activity where we all went to like different amusement type arcade places and we had go-karts. We all were in like different carts and we for our at least here in our local we had a lot of people who came out to that because it's just fun to race. You're not supposed to each other and it's a lot of fast fun. So and then afterwards you could go do laser tag at some of those arcades. So those were really fun activities that we've had in the past as well.
Now, with the go-karts, they don't have to have a driver's license to be able to do a go-kart, right? So even
Depends
those
on the place.
So under 18 can do it?
I mean, it depends on how fast your go-karts go, right? Some of these amusement parks, they're not very fast, but if you go to like a specialty one where it's specifically for go-karts, they might be a little bit different.
And see, now that you said laser tag, one thing that came to mind was escape rooms. I think that would be a fun thing to do with each other.
One of the things that we were approved to do as Texas, but never really got to enact because of all the other activities, we had a virtual escape room that we had put together. So that was a really fun one that we had approved, but we never really got to do. So hopefully we have a chance sometime soon.
Yeah, like how would you do a virtual escape room? Or what was your concept?
So our concept for it was for those of you who are familiar with like tabletop gaming, you have your game masters who kind of guide you through different things. So we were going to have like different teams log on and say like, hey, in this breakout room, if you went to this breakout room, you would have a different puzzle. If you went to this breakout room, you would have a different puzzle, and the game master would give you different clues in that breakout room. So that was something that we wanted to go do, but other higher priority activities came up. So something that we kept in the back of our mind. But
yeah,
I'm a big fan of escape rooms. It's something that me and my boyfriend do whenever I go visit him in California.
Oh, that's so cool. I haven't done it yet. I really want to try it. I think we should do that. I think that would be fun.
So Oliver Villanueva says best adobo. He was spamming our chat with a bunch of different activities. Do you remember when we did how to cook adobo?
Yes.
So that was another type of activity where we taught people
how to cook stuff.
How to cook. Yeah, that was real good.
Yeah, I think we need to do more of those hands-on stuff, especially for the youth, because I think the youth needs to learn how to cook. Because, if they stay single their whole life, then, eventually they're going to have to learn how to cook for themselves. They can't live with mom and dad forever. Right?
Right.
So cooking.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you know what? That's about time for our show. We have run out of time. I do want to thank all those who joined us today. So over there in Little Rock, any shout outs you'd like to give out to our viewers or whoever you'd like to shout out to?
Yeah, I would like to give a shout out to my Ate, my sister in California, Ate Abigail, and my dad, and all my family here in Jacksonville, Arkansas.
Nice.
And
How about you,
all,
Alan?
yeah.
Likewise, first and foremost, all of our great support from our members here in Jacksonville. So thank you for coming out today. And also my family, my daughter over there in Washington, D.C. on the East Coast, and my dad and sister over there in California.
Where in California are your family's from?
Mine is up in NorCal, so in the Manteca,
Okay.
Tracy, Lathrop
Tracy?
area.
Yeah. Where's your
Mine is
sister from?
in Vista.
Oh, nice. San Diego area. Nice. Nala, any shout outs for you?
Yeah, I've got a few. To all of our brethren in the OKC region, hope to see you all in the CFO cares in a couple of hours here in Wichita. To Brother Eton, who just took oath today as organist, and to my family, both my boyfriend's family, they're in Northwest California, as well as my family in Utah. Thanks everyone for watching.
Cool. Nate, any shout outs for you?
Yeah, I'd like to shout out our winner from
Oh,
our
that's right.
thinking
Our
cap.
thinking cap.
So
for
we'll
April.
kind of run through the scores from last month. So if you see your name, try again, try harder. Hopefully they paid attention today because you had a lot of chance to get a lot of points today.
Yes.
So here we got 4 pages of this. So
See, we have a lot of people participating, which is really cool.
now our winner actually is Melanie, my wife,
Yes.
who won again.
Yes.
Yes, she is. I guess she's my top. She's our top fan.
I mean, she logs on every week. That's how
But
you win.
she is wanting to share, so she is actually passing because she's already going to get a mug. So actually, Fredlin Bohr is going to receive.
So
the
she's
prize.
okay. So she's deferring her winnings to
Yes.
Fredolin. So Fredolin, congratulations.
And so Alan, be sure to send me an address I could send that to. Since you're
Okay.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
Give that
congratulations.
to her.
So yes, please continue participating in our Thinking Cap questions. Once we have our new show, we're going to have other prizes besides mugs. So keep at it, and hopefully we'll get more participation. Anyone else you want to give a shout out to?
That's it.
Not to your
Back
kid,
to you.
not to your kid or your wife or anyone like that.
Well, I kind of shouted her out earlier.
Okay.
And I mentioned him earlier too
Yeah.
with the bowling.
And for me, I just want to give a shout out to all the different CFO organizations who continuously put activities together for the brethren. I think it's really helpful, growing up in the church and having all these different activities, I think has made me the person that I am today. And I'm hoping that those who are listening will take advantage of the different activities we have on a regular basis and participate. So kudos to you all. So thank you all for tuning in. And as always, we always want to say thank you to our INC radio station manager, Brother Wally Taray, our SEBSI president and CFO advisor, Brother Angelo Eranio Manalo, who we'd also like to say happy birthday to. So happy birthday, Brother Angelo. And then also our executive minister, Brother Eduardo V. Manalo. Thank you all for joining, and we'll see you all next week from Lubbock, maybe, possibly.
Oh yeah, we're going to Lubbock.
You're going to Lubbock.
I'm going to Lubbock.
So, thanks for joining. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
I'm Lubbock.
is INC Radio, DCEM 954, the voice of truth.